When you hear the name Ricky Carmichael, you immediately think the GOAT of dirt bike racing. 7-time motocross champion, 5-time supercross champion, 3-time 125 champion, 150 wins across moto and supercross, 2 perfect seasons, and 3 gold medals in the X Games to go all with that. But one thing that's forgotten by Ricky was that he had a stint in NASCAR. From 2008 to 2011, Ricky would race in the K&N East to the Nationwide Series for owners Kenny Schrader, Kevin Harvick, and Turner Motorsports. However, after 2011, Ricky called it a career across all of motorsports, but there was an opportunity that almost didn't let that happen. On an episode of the Dale Jr. Download in 2021, Ricky revealed that he was gonna go to Kyle Busch Motorsports' nationwide team on a part-time basis when Kyle can't run the races. Unfortunately, plans changed after the 2011 season when Kurt Busch got fired from Team Penske and Monster went with him and Kyle instead. I unfortunately got another one of those calls saying, "Hey, can't come up Wednesday, there are some things that are going down, and we'll get back to you." When he got released, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Ricky's four-wheel career ended at a snap of a finger and now left a big what if. So what if Ricky Carmichael drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports? To try to figure out our little question here, we'll take a look back at Ricky's NASCAR career and KBM's tenure in the Nationwide Series. Now, Ricky's career, for someone who never had any four-wheel experience, is kind of what you expected. In the K&N East Series, he scored 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s in 13 starts. Now for Ricky, that's pretty solid, considering the field sizes vary from the lowest of 25 cars to the max of 44 cars. His Truck Series stats were somewhat on par with his experience level. In 68 starts, he scored 4 top 5s and 18 top 10s, with his best season being 2010, scoring 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s with a 15.9 average finish, scoring him a 13th place points finish. His nationwide career is kind of what you expected. While he only made a combined 8 starts in 2 years, he scored 1 top 10 at that wacky Road America race. Also, he scored 3 DNFs, 2 of them being crashes and a mechanical failure. Now, to be fair to Ricky, those crashes weren't his fault. Future teammate James Buescher would cause that to happen at California, and the second one was at Daytona. Now, Ricky's races in the Nationwide Series weren't really all that bad. For the most part, he ran inside the top 20 in those races. If he had more time, then he probably would have gotten better and scored more top 10s. Now, if he had Kyle Busch giving him some pointers, he probably could have overperformed his expectations. Since we've mentioned Kyle, let's go ahead and talk about his team, Kyle Busch Motorsports. KBM was formed into NASCAR in 2010 and was primarily a one-truck team and would field a part-time second truck. In their first season, they won the Owners' Championship with the 18 truck. In the closing weeks of 2011, Kyle Busch announced he would field his own nationwide team, with it being later announced that Kyle and Kurt would be splitting time in the car. The team would score its first and only win in the series with Kurt Busch at Richmond after beating Denny Hamlin in a battle in the closing laps. Kyle would run 22 races for the team and would go winless that season, scoring 9 top 5s and 14 top 10s with an average finish of 11.1, with Kyle finishing his last 11 races in the top 10. Now Kurt only ran 11 races, scoring that 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 8 top 10s, and had an average finish of 9.9 in the 54 car. After the 2012 season, things could only go up for KBM. But things took a turn when the 54 and Monster Energy went to Joe Gibbs, and KBM proceeded to field the 77 car for a young Parker Kligerman. Now Parker's rookie year was pretty decent. 3 top 5s and 13 top 10s with an average finish of 14.1 and hit him 9th in the point standings. After 2013, Kyle Busch decides to scale back to only a Truck Series team and would close the nationwide team, while Parker Kligerman would head to Swan Racing's number 30 car for 2014. The reason for the nationwide team shutting down was due to lack of funding. In an interview with Danny B Talks at the 2022 NASCAR year-end banquet interviews, Kyle states that in 2013, Monster wanted to win more races, so the out was to go to Joe Gibbs. So when that happened, the funding for the team was cut in half. So basically, Kyle self-inflicted the end of his own team. Had Kyle decided to keep the 54 in his own team, he probably would have won a handful of races in 2013 and could have become another Toyota prospect team to give them more seats for the Toyota pipeline in the following years, with Ricky being the first one on the list. With all that out of the way, let's get into our hypothesis, shall we? Now the deal was going to be a 2-year deal. The first year being the part-time deal, and I would have imagined the second year will be a full-time deal. But let's not get ahead of ourselves yet and talk about 2012. Now we will have Ricky run the 11 races that Kurt raced in, and we'll give him a handful of Kyle's races so he can gain more track time. We'll give him Montreal so Kyle doesn't have to go to Canada, Atlanta, the second Dover race, and Homestead to end the year. Well, we can start by saying that Richmond win isn't happening. Now Ricky would probably finish in the top 20 like he had done before. By the 6th or 7th race, and being under the Kyle Busch learning tree, he will start finishing in the top 15 more often and snag a top 10 or 2. If I had to predict Ricky's stats, they would look like this. No top 5s, 1 top 10, with an average finish of about 15th place. With that being 2012, 2013 now comes, and Ricky has the full 33 race schedule to look forward to. Now 2013 would start where 2012 left off. A few top 15s and a few top 10s by the time we get to Charlotte. We should be seeing Ricky consistently running 8th to 12th on track and maybe slip in a top 5 at a super speedway race. By the time we get to the final handful of races in the season, Ricky should be a consistent top 10 driver and challenging for wins at this point, as his progression has grown vastly over the season, leading to a possible third year at the team in 2014 where we could possibly see him in victory lane. Now, I can't say where Ricky's career would go after 2014, but he definitely would have some stock to his name for other teams to get him in the later half of the 2010s. Now that we have gone through our hypothetical scenario here, let's talk about the changes of future events. We have Ricky running the 54 in 2012, then Kurt never gets to drive for Monster and create their relationship. Now, he probably would have still go to Stewart-Haas Racing, but if he doesn't have the Monster Energy partnership, where does he go after 2018? Does he get the Ganassi seat in 2019 and the 2311 seat in 2022? Or does he stay at Stewart-Haas? Or does Kurt retire after 2018? After all, Ricky was Monster's guy long before they were with the Bushes. Now let's look into 2013 and Ricky does get the full year. Where does that leave Parker Kligerman? Does KBM field 2 full-time cars? Or does Parker stay in the truck series? Remember, Parker finished 2012 with Red Horse Racing in one of their trucks. Even want to race with them at Talladega. Does he make a full year there before going to the Nationwide Series, or does he go straight to Cup from trucks in 2014? Or does Parker go somewhere else in 2013? But I think the biggest question is, if Ricky is successful at KBM, then does that lead to much more success, and does it keep KBM around today? But that's all just speculation. Now I want to hear from you. Does Ricky find success at KBM, and does KBM still exist today? Let me know and subscribe for more content, and as always, have a good day.